Maxwell Technologies may have once sounded like a dream out of Zimbabwe, but today it's a living testament to what Africa can do when bold ideas meet fearless execution. Founded by a team of engineers from across the continent, Maxwell was built on one vision: to create Africa's first fully electric vehicle ecosystem, from the battery to the car to the charging network. In just 5 years, they've gone from a garage concept in Harare to a Pan-African tech powerhouse operating in 12 countries and exporting their innovations globally. This week, Maxwell unveiled the Amani, Swahili for peace, but don't be fooled by the name. The Amani is a fully electric SUV that blends rugged durability with cutting-edge tech, built specifically for African roads and conditions. Highlights include a solar-integrated roof for off-grid charging sun, a 500 kilometers range with fast charging support high voltage, AI-based terrain adaptation for rural and urban navigation robot face, locally sourced batteries built in Nigeria and Ghana battery. But that's not all. Alongside the Amani, Maxwell also launched a continent-wide EV charging network called ZingaNet, spanning from Cairo to Cape Town, with over 700 stations already live. International media outlets were stunned. TechCrunch called it the Tesla of the Global South. Bloomberg said, Africa has entered the race, and it's moving fast. By designing for Africa, in Africa, Maxwell has achieved something global automakers failed to do, creating an EV that's affordable, sustainable, and tailored to the continent's needs. Even more shocking, the Amani starts at just $18,000, a price point that puts pressure on Chinese, Indian, and Western manufacturers alike. Maxwell's launch isn't just a tech breakthrough. It's a symbolic moment, a shift in narrative, where Africa isn't just a consumer of innovation, but a driver of it. It means job creation, tech education, and global recognition. It means a future where young Africans won't have to leave the continent to work on world-changing ideas, because those ideas are now being built right here. They said Africa couldn't do it, but now the world is watching and Africa is leading. This isn't just about one car, one company, or even one continent. It's about rewriting the rules of innovation and reminding the world that greatness has no borders. Could Maxwell become Africa's Tesla or something even greater? Just days after Maxwell's historic launch, international investors are already circling. Venture capital firms from Silicon Valley, Tokyo, and Berlin are reportedly in talks to fund Maxwell's next expansion phase, valuing the company at over $3.2 billion USD. Meanwhile, African governments are scrambling to roll out incentives, infrastructure, and policies to support EV manufacturing, realizing that this is no longer just Maxwell's win, it's a continental movement. Even legacy automakers are taking notice. Rumors suggest that a major European brand is in early discussions for a partnership or even a licensing deal to use Maxwell's battery tech, because what they've developed isn't just impressive, it's disruptive. Let's go back to that charging network, ZingaNet. At first glance, it looks like a chain of EV stations, but beneath the surface, it's a smart grid revolution. Maxwell's team didn't just install chargers. They built a renewable power digital spine stretching across borders. Powered by solar farms in Namibia, wind fields in Kenya, and hydro grids in DRC. ZingaNet connects remote villages to urban hubs, EVs to homes, and cars to the cloud. This network isn't just keeping the Amani running. It's empowering farmers with off-grid power, giving students internet access in rural towns, and fueling the data infrastructure of tomorrow. So, how did Maxwell do what global giants couldn't? Simple. They focused on people first, then product. Maxwell has built R&D labs in Kigali, Lusaka, Lagos, and beyond, staffed by young African engineers, coders, and climate scientists. They partner with universities, train local talent, and created an innovation ecosystem rooted in purpose. This isn't a brain drain. It's a brain gain. And it's rewriting what's possible when belief meets opportunity. The Amani was just the beginning. Maxwell has already teased its next move, a compact EV pickup designed for agriculture and small businesses. Lightweight, solar-assisted, and dirt road ready, it's a game changer for rural economies. There are whispers of an e-bike program for urban youth, and a partnership with Space Tech Africa to integrate satellite navigation and disaster response AI into future vehicles. And here's the kicker. Maxwell is planning an IPO on the Nairobi Securities Exchange next year, giving everyday Africans a chance to own a piece of this revolution. This is more than just a company story. This is the birth of a new African narrative, one where innovation isn't outsourced, it's homegrown. So if you thought Africa was just catching up, think again. Africa is designing the future. Across Africa, something intangible is changing. It's not just headlines or hashtags. It's the vibe. In Lagos, young kids are sketching their own EV concepts in notebooks. In Kigali, students are writing code for ZingaNet's traffic optimization algorithm. In Johannesburg, influencers aren't just reviewing foreign gadgets. They're spotlighting local breakthroughs. Maxwell's launch has sparked a cultural wave, a movement of belief, not just in the company, but in the power of African ingenuity. And that shift, it can't be reversed. Because when an entire generation sees themselves as creators, not consumers, the future doesn't look like Silicon Valley. It looks like Lusaka. It looks like Nairobi. It looks like Accra. Let's not sugarcoat it. Maxwell has rattled the cage. China, India, Germany, and the U.S. have long dominated the EV space. But Maxwell's emergence challenges a dangerous myth that advanced tech must come from wealthy nations. Instead, we now have a blueprint from Africa. Build locally, think sustainably, scale smartly, and design for people, not just profits. Already, African nations are forming new trade corridors focused on EV tech and renewables. Maxwell is in talks with the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, to streamline cross-border logistics and tariffs. What does this mean? Africa could soon become the most integrated EV market on Earth. Of course, no revolution is without resistance. Maxwell still faces infrastructure gaps, political red tape, and fierce competition from global giants who now see them as a threat. There are cybersecurity concerns with ZingaNet, questions around scaling battery production, and of course, the constant pressure to maintain quality while expanding rapidly. But here's what sets Maxwell apart: resilience. They didn't rise in a vacuum. They rose in an environment full of doubt. They've been underestimated, underfunded, and overlooked. And still, they delivered. So yes, challenges are coming. But if the past is any indicator, Maxwell will face them head-on and come out stronger. Maxwell's ambition doesn't end at Africa's borders. Plans are underway to export the Amani to Southeast Asia, Latin America, and eventually Europe, not as a cheap alternative, but as a premium innovation with African DNA. And here's the twist. Some Western companies are already trying to license Maxwell's off-grid solar charging tech, not to sell cars, but to power homes in rural America and Europe. Let that sink in. African technology, empowering the global north. That's the future we're heading into. And Maxwell is already behind the wheel. Maxwell's innovation isn't just moving people, it's moving economies. In Ethiopia, a new Maxwell-supported lithium processing facility is creating hundreds of skilled jobs. In Zambia, small villages once isolated are now connected to markets through EV-powered trade hubs. And in Senegal, local mechanics are being trained through Maxwell's certified EV repair program, building a new middle class grounded in tech. But there's more. Their initiative, Empower Her, is training thousands of young women in EV engineering, battery research, and green software development, closing Africa's gender gap in STEM faster than ever imagined. Maxwell's rise has become a multiplier. It's not just a tech story anymore. It's economic transformation. It's education. It's equity. Here's something few saw coming. Thanks to the wave Maxwell triggered, an entire EV tech corridor is being planned between Nairobi, Kampala, and Dar es Salaam, already nicknamed Silicon Savannah. With government incentives and private investments flooding in, we're talking research parks, battery labs, AI centers, EV manufacturing plants, clean energy campuses. And guess what? Tech giants from Europe and Asia are now setting up satellite offices there, not to teach, but to learn. They're realizing what Maxwell already knew. Africa is not a frontier. It's a force. Maxwell's leadership made a bold move. They structured part of the company's equity to be community-owned. Through local investment cooperatives, ordinary citizens in Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Rwanda now own shares in the company. Farmers, teachers, students, all holding stock in the continent's most exciting tech startup. Why does this matter? Because this isn't just about innovation. It's about inclusive innovation. As Maxwell rises, so do the people. And that's what truly scares the old guard. A tech empire that doesn't just generate profit, but spreads power. Maxwell's founder, Tendai Makoni, said it best at the launch event in Kigali. We're not trying to copy Silicon Valley or Shenzhen. We're building something the world has never seen, an African innovation model rooted in collaboration, community, and climate justice. And that's exactly what's happening. Next on Maxwell's roadmap, a data-driven climate platform using EV data to map heat zones and optimize disaster response. An EV-to-home energy system that turns parked cars into backup electricity sources for households. A learning platform to train 1 million African youth in sustainable tech by 2030. This isn't a company with a vision. It's a vision that built a company.